Title: The Black-Eyed Children. David lived a quiet life in a small town nestled in the mountains. One chilly autumn evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, a soft but persistent knocking echoed through his home. He opened the door to find two children standing on his porch. They were pale, with hair as dark as the night sky, and wore old-fashioned clothing that seemed out of place. But what struck David the most were their eyes, pitch black, devoid of any whites. "Please, sir, can we come in? We need help," one of the children said, their voice a haunting monotone. Despite a deep sense of unease, David felt compelled to help. He stepped aside, letting the children into his home. The moment they crossed the threshold, a chill swept through the house, and David felt an inexplicable sense of dread. The children sat silently in his living room, staring at him with those unsettling eyes. David tried to ask where they were from and what they needed, but they only responded with vague, unsettling answers. That night, David barely slept. He kept hearing whispers and footsteps throughout the house, but when he checked, there was no one there. The next morning, the children were gone, leaving no trace of their presence. Soon after their visit, David's life began to unravel. His beloved dog went missing, his car broke down inexplicably, and he lost his job due to a sudden and mysterious company shutdown. Each misfortune seemed to come from nowhere, bringing a dark cloud over his life. Desperate for answers, David began to research. He discovered tales of the black-eyed children, eerie visitors whose presence often heralded disaster. According to legends, those who encountered them would experience a string of tragedies and misfortunes. Determined to rid himself of their curse, David sought out a local historian, an elderly woman named Mrs. Hargrove. She listened to his story with a grave expression and told him that once the black-eyed children entered someone's home, they left a mark, a kind of dark energy that drew misfortune. "There are ways to cleanse your home and yourself, but it's not easy," Mrs. Hargrove warned. She handed David a list of rituals and protective symbols to use. Over the next few weeks, David followed her instructions diligently. He purified his home with sage, hung protective talismans at every entrance, and recited incantations meant to banish dark spirits. Gradually, the sense of dread lifted, and the strange occurrences ceased. Though the immediate curse seemed to be lifted, David knew he would never be the same. The encounter with the black-eyed children had left an indelible mark on his soul. He moved away from the town, seeking solace in a new beginning, but the memory of those pitch-black eyes haunted him still, a reminder of the thin veil between our world and the unknown.